Hey, welcome back to another episode of Tie-Dye Talks. Well, welcome back for those of you that have been here before. But if you're all brand new, welcome, right? Come on in and here we have to talk about what we have to say. And join us weekly for our podcast where we discuss all about life's lessons. But today, what are we talking about today, Andy? I'll let you throw it out. What are we talking about today? Today's a good one.
Today we're talking about the pursuit of higher education. Should everyone in this life, wherever they are on planet Earth, pursue a higher education? That's our topic. And again, Paul, Tiffany, I think it's a loaded topic because we're talking about pursuing, right? Going after something that you think is worthwhile. And then we're talking about higher education. Paul, you and I are both educators. We've been that for a long time. We've been coaches. Tiffany's been an educator. My mom has been an educator. So it seems like it's a family of educators. So with that, Tiffany, we will start with you because this is
Hold on. I'm going to throw a quick check into this. Before we even start, I like your point last week, Andy. We got to define things. So let's let Tiffany define what is higher education so that we are on the same page. Because like last time you're saying, hey, your definition and my definition, maybe we might be talking about life education, spiritual education, right? Let's figure out what the heck this thing is. What is higher education that we're talking about that you should or shouldn't be in pursuit of? Go ahead, Tiff, take it away.
So for me, higher education is anything past high school. Collegiate level is really where I think that we start to get into higher education and talking about the pursuit, because that's when you start to have to pay for it yourself, and it's something that you need to consider. So
you have to pay for yourself. What are you talking about?
Well, you know what I mean.
She's not a parent that's had kids send kids through school. What are you talking pay for yourself? Our generation, yeah. You know what? I have to jump in here because my daughter, she's like almost 39. That's her thing. Oh, you got to pay for my education. Who's paying for my education? I got to pay for my education, my parents' education, or whatever my parents' stuff was, or retirement, and I got to pay for my kids' education. All right, sorry, I'm taking it far a few where it shouldn't go. Go ahead, Andy. Go ahead.
I'm paying back my debts right now, so that's why I say you got to pay for yourself. My mom signed me up for it when I went into college, but now they just knocked on my email and said, "Hey, pay up." So I am paying for it.
Well, I would say this: you all have gone into a place where we can start here, as Paul talked about definition. Tiffany, you said anything past high school is considered higher education. So. But on this pay level, I think Paul, Tiffany, I've learned in this life. I was told this saying, and I think it's a very true saying. When people don't pay, they don't pay attention. And so many times I think when kids don't have to make that investment financially into college, it doesn't have the same meaning as if they're paying for themselves or working to go to school. It makes a whole lot of difference in terms of how important this education becomes versus mom and dad is footing the bill. In my case, I had a full soccer scholarship, but that was a job. They didn't give me that money for me to just be able to go have fun on campus. I had to work now through playing for the team. So I had a different lens in college than folks who were getting a stipend and just having fun. But one more thing I would say, my definition is the word education. I learned along the way since I was this educator for so long. It came from the Latin word educe, educ, which means to draw it from within. And I think there is a misnomer in the meaning of education. So even though we go and beyond high school and college, the definition itself, I think we confuse schooling for education. I think when we say education, we think it's the be all and end all in a knowledge base when you go to school, but I think therein lies something we need to unpack. And I'm going to throw it to my partner, Paul, who is an educator, and see what he thinks about what I just queued up there.
That's a great point, Andy, because what does it mean to be educated? What does it mean to be in pursuit of education? And so, the title itself just sounds like as if we're confining it to post-secondary type institutions that will give you some sort of terminus degree or a piece of paper to exonerate or to confirm what you've learned. But here's a funny thing. They've done studies, again, I know you don't like my studies numbers, Andy, but they've done some studies that have said many people have gone and gotten all this paperwork. How often do you actually work in the industry that you've gone and gotten that certification paperwork in? So then you start to question, well, why are so many people going to higher education, right? To try and attain that level of knowledge, as Andy's saying. For what purpose? Is it, I've gone to school to become a biologist, so I'm going to work in a lab and be a biologist? And what you realize is, no, it's about access to a level of entry. It's about opening doors for opportunities. It's about the bar that's set to exclude or include people in society. And are you able to meet that bar before you're excluded? Doesn't mean that you won't be successful, doesn't mean that you won't have different pathways in life. But however, most people who go to university, unfortunately, for young people who are listening, if you're going to school and taking whatever course and program, most likely you will not work for your whole life in that one discipline. Even more so nowadays. It used to be that way back in the earlier industrial, post-industrial revolution and our days of university. Now we're preparing people for jobs that don't even exist with the emergence of AI and whatnot. So back to Andy's point, what are you being educated on, right? And why are you also forced in college to take what we call at our college gen ed, or general education, or social studies courses that are generic in nature, that explore your overall personality and understanding of the bigger picture, right? So are you just going to become a pharmacist, a doctor, a lawyer, a judge, or whatever the heck it is you're going to, a scientist, an engineer, a mechanic, right? I mean, talk about the trades, because is the next question I'll throw back now, and I'll throw it back over maybe to you, Tiffany, is we haven't even talked about the vocation of the trades. What about people who pursue higher education to become an electrician or to become a carpenter or whatever have you, right? Are those things considered education, or are they training? So yeah, I agree with you, Andy. My definition is that education is this idea of what we can get out of somebody, but institutional education is all about terminus degrees and having papers to give you access to certain things in life. Over to you, Tim.
Yeah, no, I agree with the vocational schools being more geared towards training. I feel like that's more hands-on in terms of when people say higher education, I feel like they go towards university, which is more the collegiate level and whatnot, and studies. And then you brought up a good point about the gen ed. I taught middle school and I taught high school. And the one question that the kids are always asking, well, why do I need to know this? What do I need to be in school for? There's certain things that, yeah, you know what, you might not need to know why this experiment turns out the way it does, but you need to know how to work through a process. There are things that you have to zoom out on in school that you can get through being in school and in the classroom setting through that educational program. So those gen eds, a lot of kids go into school not knowing what they want to be. I was definitely one of those kids. I just was going with the flow. So I needed those 2 years of just basic classes to kind of figure out where I wanted to be and what I wanted to do in my life. So
Yeah.
So I think we can throw a question back at you, Andy. So do you need higher education? We talk about in the pursuit of it. So do you need it?
Yeah, so I think I was gonna say that, Paul. Now we've defined, we've developed, we've digged into the topic, we saw how deep it can be. Now we need to answer the question. Should everyone pursue higher education? Because it's such a loaded question, for me, I would say no. I would say everyone should pursue their God-given gifts, their passion, things that they really want to do in this life. Education may be a path for those who are academically inclined and want to have a career that is tied to an educational path to get to that career. Do that. But everybody shouldn't be shepherded in to that box in this life. And if you want to go bounce a ball, you get chastised. Oh, how many guys will end up in the NBA? If you want to play, if you want to be a soccer player, a violin player, whatever you want to do, people are making money in this life with their gifts and their passion because they refuse to go down the path of everybody's got to do this. And the problem I have with everybody should have to pursue higher education, it's why are we even going to school to begin with? The bottom line, you kind of said it, Paul, is to get credentials, to be certified, to go do a job. Now, not everybody even want to go do that job, but that's what we're all conditioned. I believe, Tiffany, I think around the world, if we do a census, everybody in every society was told education is the key to your success. Everybody is conditioned on that, right? But then when you look around at who's running the world in terms of the financial powerhouses, it's business people, it's entertainers, it's athletes, it's actors, it's people who want in that educational part. And therein lies what I think we get set up in life. If you want to really do something, right? You know, we got some influencers now making millions who never went to higher education. And everybody's trying to get selfies with them, right? It's going on in real time around me. So, I mean,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? So my answer is, Paul, and coming back to you, I believe everybody was given a gift by God, and that's what resides in them that they want to do, should be told. But they're scared because they were conditioned that, are you crazy? What are you trying to do that for? You can't make money with that. This is what it kind of comes back down to, right? So you can make money with the education that they told us, but have we Googled now? Anybody's listening, Google the amount of unemployment with PhDs, masters, and bachelors. And I don't want people to get me wrong, because I've been an educator. Was Andy saying don't go to school? That's not what we're saying.
So,
He made some points. Foundational things are needed. Yeah, you have to learn how to read and comprehension competently. You got to know how to, deal with the math skills, the monetary science. You got to understand your finances. So there is value there in that foundation, Paul and Tiffany. But I think the notion that you got to go higher, and the higher you go, the more successful you're going to be, especially from a financial standpoint, that is a myth to me.
It's an interesting point, as you were saying. So, now we can deal with the pursuit aspect, why you're pursuing it. And how much of we, when we say we, meaning, that older generation, I say older now because we're getting up there, Andy. I can remember my parents told me, they're like, no, you got to go to school. You got to go to school. I don't want to go to school. I was trying to get a scholarship. I got into a car accident. So the first offer I had kind of fell through. So I had to recover from that and then look for more scholarships. And then everything I got offered was a partial. So everybody in my family said, no, you have to go to school. You have to go to school. Everybody that was older to me that advised me. And I was like, well, I'm taking a year off. So I ended up taking a year off. After the year off, it's like, well, what are you doing? What are you doing? And then I look at it and I did the same thing to my kids, right? And they all went to school. Only one ended up in the discipline whereby she really is doing what she wants to do. She's in entertainment, right? So, but she went to school and she got her degree in acting and drama and also theater, production art. She got a degree and a diploma, right? And she's the one struggling the most right now, still at home. And then she sometimes feels like, I shouldn't talk on her behalf, but she feels like, it's tough. It's really tough for her. And maybe it's not as valued because she's like, I don't have a job. And everybody's thinking, get a job. That's what she hears from everybody in the family. So I had to say to her the other day,